I would say probably this is the best the relationship has been in the last 10 to 15 years. Most of this has happened as a result of the priority that our government has placed on India and its importance on the global stage right now. So we've been able to negotiate a nuclear cooperation agreement. We've launched the SEPA negotiations. We've looked at upgrading our bilateral air agreement. So there are a lot of what I would call fundamental government activities to improve the bilateral relationship, and they've all happened essentially in the last 2 to 3 years. We've had a Prime Minister visit in 2009, and we had Prime Minister Singh, our Prime Minister visited in 2009. Prime Minister Singh was in Canada in 2010, and this is when these agreements have been signed. So it's really, a very propitious time for our relationship. And the vision, of course, is just to build that relationship and make it really vibrant and dynamic. The focus for us would be to really work collaboratively in the knowledge-based sectors. And this starts with the academic environment. I've been in India for almost 10 months now, and since I've been here, we've had approximately 25 vice chancellors from Canada visit to build the relationship between the two countries. In June, we had 25 vice chancellors from India visit Canada. So this is a great way at the knowledge-based level to begin and to build a relationship. In the last year, we've increased the number of MOUs we had between academic institutions from 50 to 100. And now we're seeing really strong Canadian knowledge-based industries coming into India looking for partnerships to build in specific sectors. Renewable energy is one example. Food, agricultural logistics, food processing, biotechnology, of course, and infrastructure would be really key and fundamental sectors where we think we have real strengths. The other area, of course, is digital media and telecommunications, where historically Canada has a really strong intellectual property base and good Canadian companies that can succeed in a market like India. For now is over 1 million in Canada. Our population is 34 million, so on a percentage basis, it's quite large. It's larger than the United States. The Indian diaspora has been a fantastic contributor to the Canadian economy, and I think will now play an important bridge in building those partnerships and collaborations. I think, again, in June of this year, we had both the Global PBD and IFA in Toronto, and that was a great example of how the diaspora in Canada was being recognized by the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs and also by Bollywood, because, as a matter of fact, the next month, the Toronto International Film Festival will be taking place, and we'll have Indian films and Indian producers involved and directors involved in the Toronto International Film Festival. So again, it's a good example of the collaborations and where the diaspora can play an important role in our bilateral relationship. Again, it's really both sides getting to understand each other better. So you'll have a large Indian delegation going to Toronto, meeting with Canadian companies and getting to understand what Canadian capabilities are. The same thing, at the same time, they'll be able to demonstrate their capabilities. So having that large delegation, that engaged, that involved, I just think is the beginning of building a much more prosperous bilateral business and economic relationship. So it has to start somewhere. I mean, we've had lots of interaction, but bringing those types of companies with engineering, design, and engineering fabrication backgrounds will be important to building that relationship.